Let's face it, literally all the small capacity bikes from all manufacturers have lost at least some amount of power after their BS6 update. But there's one Indian manufacturer which has literally refused to compromise with the performance of its bikes even after the BS6 update. That manufacturer is Bajaj, of course, and the NS series from the Bajaj Pulsar lineup has actually gained more power after being BS6 compliant. I've already reviewed the BS6 NS200, the link is in the I button appearing up top. But today let's check out the baby NS, the NS160. So, hey guys, what's up? I'm Sriniket. You're watching my YouTube channel Sri Productions, and today let's check out the most powerful 160cc commuter there is, the Pulsar NS160. Let's get started. Design of the 160 is identical in every aspect to its iconic elder sibling, the NS200. Now that has upset a lot of NS200 fanboys out there, but for those who can only afford a 160, it's surely a good news. So, it gets the exact same naked wolf design with frightening DRLs, a big and muscular tank, and that hot and iconic tail section. In all, the design, despite being too familiar, is still one of the best. The best way of spotting a 160 over a 200 are thinner front forks and a front tire with a smaller disc up front. And then the obvious differences like coolant fins on the engine and no radiator inside the housing. Overall, compared to the NS200, the 160 does look skinnier. Similarities between the 200 means you'll surely gain a lot of attention. And according to 160cc standards, the NS has the most amount of road presence as it looks and is bigger than its rivals. But complete absence of an LED headlight and an informative instrument cluster means it does feel a bit dated compared to its rivals. Now, unlike its competitors, after the BS6 update, the NS160 has actually gained more power. So in the BS4 avatar, it used to produce around 15.5 PS of peak power and 15 Newton meters of peak torque. So now the power output has gained by around 1.5 PS, which is a significant amount for bikes with such small capacity. So it now produces 17 PS of peak power, which is really impressive number. But the torque figures has dropped down by 0.4 Newton meters. So it produces 14.6 Newton meters, which is still class leading. And that's a great news for the performance of this bike. So, has the increase in the power output and slight drop in the torque output affected the performance of this bike? There's only one way to find out. Let's test ride the BS6 NS160. It's the most powerful out of the lot. It does get the side stand engine cut off. It does sound nice and throaty. Riding the NS160, the immense power is felt clearly as it does 0 to 100 in just 3 seconds. I'm just kidding, but the power increase is definitely noticeable over its BS4 model and even its BS6 compliant rivals. It has a very linear power delivery, but the engine feels effortless and does feel rev happy. Revving it into the limiter, the power in the top end is better than its rivals. In all, the performance is what clearly defines this bike. But then, no Bajaj is complete without vibes. The 160 is no different. In the bottom end, slight buzz is felt on the tank, and as you rev it, vibes do creep in onto the foot pegs, tank and seat. They are definitely less compared to the BS4 version. The handling is impressive as it's very flickable in the city, and as the suspension is set up a bit on the softer side, it does soak up bumps quite effectively. The NS160 is the only 160cc commuter which gets a perimeter frame. That does make it the heaviest of the lot, weighing in at a whopping 151 kilograms. That's at least 6 to 10 kgs heavier than its direct rivals. But don't think that that's a drawback, as the perimeter frame feels very rigid. Combined with its weight, it remains rock solid in the straight line on the highways and is very confidence inspiring. Combine that with a powerful engine which loves to rev and has a decent amount of performance in the top end, the BS6 NS160, according to me, is the best 160cc bike for touring. The gearbox has precise shifts with no roughness. Bajaj has really worked on the gearbox of all of its bikes really well. Coming to the brakes, braking is the only area where I was left wanting for more, as the rear end has minimum feedback and not so good stopping power. The front end has decent bite, but again it lacks in the overall feel and stopping power as well. The seat height is approachable at 805mm as I didn't have much trouble and was able to plant both of my feet properly on the ground. The seat is flat but has decent cushioning, as it isn't too stiff nor too soft. Clip-ons are sit a bit low but are closer to the rider. The foot pegs are slightly rear set but not uncomfortably so. In all, the sitting posture is sporty but not too aggressive. About the cruising speed, it is the only 160cc bike I would recommend riding at 95 to 100 km/h. But at that speed, you'll encounter decent vibes as I mentioned earlier. So realistic speeds of 90 to 95 km an hour would be more comfortable with occasional 100 km an hour bursts. Talking about the mileage, you can easily expect to get around 40 kmpl if you ride sanely. But as it produces a really healthy amount of power now, riding aggressively will return close to 35 kmpl. The tank capacity is 12 liters, so a realistic tank range of 450 km is achievable if ridden at 80 to 90 km an hour. So the question is the NS160 worth buying over its BS6 competitors? Well, let me tell you, if you want the most amount of performance out of your BS6 160cc commuter and also rock solid stability on highways, the NS160 is still the one to go for. But if you want slightly better build quality, other Japanese and a particular Indian rival is still a better choice. So that's pretty much it from my side. Special thanks to Pagariya Bajaj for providing me the BS6 NS160 for review. Contact details are in the description down below. And also let me know in the comments down below if you want detailed comparison videos between the NS160 and its BS6 compliant rivals from my side. Till then, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like this video. Thanks for watching.